All right, I got a couple of more here from 2.4 that we should finish up here. So let's start with number 1. We're going to do number 2 and then number 11. I think those are the ones that were some issues there. So solve the inequality 4x less than 5 and write the solution using inequality notation and then graph it, looks like. So let's go for it here. So first things first, let's get it to a board that we can actually do the work on. All right, with that, again, there's really only one thing to do here. Just divide by 4 on both sides. We have x less than 5/4. Now, a few things we're gonna put that in just a little bit here, but let's draw the graph before we actually put it on our XYZ account here. So we're looking at x less than 5/4. I sort of have to think about, because these guys are in terms of integers, so there's a 1, there's a 2 on our graph. So where would 5/4 be? Well, if you change it up to a mixed number, what we're really looking for is we're looking full, looks like 4 goes into 5, one big whole number, and then there's a 1/4 after it, so it's 1 1/4. So if we do this here, we're going to have to put an open dot a little bit past 1, 1/4 of the way to 2, and then at the same time I'm going to fill this in less than, going off to this side right here. So let's put that in, see if we get the right answer. All right, inequality notation says x is less than, oh no, we got to put a little less than 5 divided by 4. Okay, you could do it that way, and that's just using the keypad. All right, it comes in as this way. So if you want to use the math palette, again, x, then you have these inequality notation symbols right here. So there's all the stuff you need for inequalities. It's less than. And there's those fractions, so we have to go to the basic menu again, fraction of 5, down arrow, 4, save. Okay, preview. Make sure we got it, and our graph, here it is. We're going to go open dot first, so we got to go 1 and a little bit over, so there's my 1/4 right there. Then the line segment. The line segment has to begin right at that dot. If you begin a little bit past the dot, it's going to be wrong. So sort of start the line segment inside that circle and move it over to the left, and then once you see an arrow up here, you're good to go. That's what you want. All right, let's see if we got this one right. All right, yes, we're good. There it is, our green stuff right there. All right, number 2 is the next one that some students had issues with. So doing those real quickly here. This one, and I think I know what the issue is already. All right, so -6x is less than 24. Let's look at it on a little worksheet here first. All right, as we're looking at this here, what we should notice is this little negative right there. So the rule is, hopefully you looked at it in the textbook here, hopefully you looked at the examples here, if you were to divide through by a negative number, because that 6 is negative, this does cancel all this out, leaving us with an x, but you have to switch around your inequality. So now this becomes 24 divided by -6, that becomes a -4, but your inequality has to be changed now. So as you graph this, you're going to find -4 on your graph. You're going to do open dot, and now it's going to go x greater than -4, so you're going to go off to the right this time. All right, let's see if we can graph that, put it in our XYZ homework account. All right, this is inequality notation, so I'm going to put it in as x. I switch my inequality to greater than, that's a -4. So there's that. Now I have to graph this guy here. So again, choosing open dot. If you choose dot, that means close dot. So open dot for this particular number. I'm going to hit right at -4. And the line segment, again, you got to start right inside the circle there. Wait for the arrow to appear. And let's submit it, see what happens. Cool, all right. We are on a roll. There it is. 2 greens in a row. And the last one that we had issues with from the forum is this one right here. Solve the inequality in interval notation. So kind of careful here. This is not inequality notation anymore. We've got to answer this in interval notation. So let's see. Let's get it to some place where we can actually do some work. All right, so let's go for it here. We're going to solve first. So let's distribute this little negative. So negative t plus 4 this time, plus 2t less than 4t minus 4. Good there. And then we're going to go, let's see, looks like negative t plus 2t leaves us with just a t on the left. Got a little plus 4 there. Kind of made a funny t over here. That's okay. So let's, actually, no, let's not do that. Let's subtract 4t from both sides. So subtract, oh, 1 second here, a little issue there. Okay, subtract 4t and subtract 4t over here. And as we look at it, that cancels. That leaves us with a negative 3t. Still a plus 4 over here, still a minus 4 over here. So as we subtract 4 over here, negative 3t, still a less than symbol with a negative 8 on this side now. All right, almost there. And so what we have to do is we have to divide through by negative 3. And again, don't forget that little division by a negative. That cancels, leaves us with, let me bring it over here, leaves us with t. But then we have to switch our inequality. And again, because we are dividing through by a negative number. That's what makes it switch. So now we go greater than. And the little negative 8, negative 3 is going to cancel. So how about 8/3 is really what we're looking at. So t greater than 8/3. Now the thing is that we don't want to graph it. This is called inequality notation. So what we want to do is we want interval notation. So we want to say, okay, all the numbers that are greater than 8/3. So 8/3 looks like it's a starting point. So it's going to be parentheses. 8/3 because it starts, and then it's going to go off to positive infinity. There's no stop to this. Okay, so parentheses 8/3 comma infinity, and then a parenthesis at the end here. So let's input it. All right, at this point I'm probably going to hit the up arrow, and then intervals right here. Intervals are waiting for us. So we're going to start. This means not including the beginning, not including the end. This means not including beginning, including the end. Kind of careful which one you want. This is including the beginning, but not the end. And this one's including both beginning and end. Okay, we're going to use this one because we're not including 8/3. And whenever you have an infinity symbol or negative infinity, it's always going to have a parenthesis next to it because you never can get to actual infinity. All right. So basics, fraction, how about 8/3 is what we want here. Go 2 times on the arrow key. Back to intervals, and we got ourselves positive infinity. You really don't need the plus sign here because you assume it's already positive there. Save it, and again, let's see. First, I'll probably want to click the preview button in case that's exactly what I'm looking for. 8/3 as a quotient, comma infinity. Cool. Let's submit it. Let's see if we hit green. All right, there it is, and those are all the problems here. Number 1, number 2, number 11. That it was from the forum. Hopefully this helps.